All right, what's up? Let's do it. Drive time, Tuesday afternoon, 14 minutes past the hour, 2 o'clock. It's cold today. It was okay this morning, but man, the temps have dropped to about 55, 56 degrees. Little rain, little cloud coverage here in downtown Salt Lake City, Utah. Temperatures will improve starting really on Thursday. We'll have a nice little weekend ahead, and 86 degrees coming up on Monday. So warm temperatures on the way. Some rain today, some rain tomorrow. Happy Tuesday to you, as it is every day. It is so good to have you with us. Spence Checketts behind the mic. Porter Larson producing the program today. And we got a lot to do. Good guest list. 3 of my favorites on the show today. The New York Knicks have not played in the NBA Finals since 1999. And we're going to party like it's 1999. The Knicks have now won 3 straight games by 25 points or more, and that has never happened in postseason basketball, as the playoffs are now getting pretty interesting. Rudy Gobert, Anthony Edwards, and the Minnesota Timberwolves with a gut check road win last night over the young upstart San Antonio Spurs. Victor Wembanyama set an NBA record with 12 blocked shots, but did not knock down his own shots. Anthony Edwards kind of played hero role, looked like he was not even going to play, and didn't play a ton of minutes, but gave them exactly what they needed. And the T-Wolves held on. San Antonio had a good look down the stretch. They elected not to take a timeout, but could not get it done. And now Minnesota has stolen home court advantage from the San Antonio Spurs. Move over to what we're going to see tonight. Early tip for Cavs Pistons. The Pistons, of course, the number 1 seed in the East. They have home court advantage. Donovan Mitchell trying to get out of the second round for the first time in his career. We'll see if he can do that against a really tough, good, young Detroit Piston team. And I'm really intrigued to see what the Lakers are able to do against OKC. I've not seen anybody pick LA to win this series, but Austin Reeves back in the lineup. LeBron at the age of 42. Amazing to see him playing this way, even though he is at such an advanced age. J.J. Redick talked about this earlier this week, that when you look at basically net rating, offensive rating, defensive rating, all of the things you need to look at from the data available, Oklahoma City deserves to be talked about, just like that Golden State Warrior team in 2016, 2017, and like the Chicago Bulls in the 90s. Like, that's how good they are. And even though J-Dub is still making his way back, they've got so much depth. It's at this point, it's hard for me to see anybody even giving them a series, if I'm honest. It looks like the Knicks have a great shot to come out of the East, but I think OKC would beat New York in 5 games. So NBA playoff stuff on the program today. We'll get you caught up with what happened last night, get you ready for the 2 games tonight. Of course, the season for the Utah Mammoth is over. We're expecting to hear from Bill Armstrong and Coach Torney today, so we'll have some Mammoth sound available for you. RSL's on the road coming up this weekend. Saturday for a 6:30 kick in Dallas. Been a tough place for RSL to play down there for whatever reason. That game can be seen on Apple Television. And the Utah Royals are playing excellent soccer. They're going to be back in action tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Mountain Time on CBSN, taking on Houston. They've won 4 straight games. They're a top 5 team in the league. So, a lot going on the program today. Our first guest, Chris Kamrani, our private equity expert, our Big 12 football expert, our Utah football expert, college football as a whole. We'll bring in CK today to talk about a bunch of different things. My old radio partner and our friend from the Salt Lake Tribune, the Godfather himself, Gordon Monson, will also be live in studio. And then in the 4 o'clock hour, I don't think there are very many people that have taught me more about the game of basketball than Gordy Chiesa. 36 years as an NBA and college coach, 16 years next to Jerry Sloan, coached in 147 playoff games. Gordy was my guest today on the Reality Check podcast, my new project over at KUTV. We're going to bring that to you. Reminder, you can see that live on TV. Well, won't be live, but you can see that on TV coming up on Friday night. We televised the podcast on both KMYU and KJazz TV at 9:30 on Friday night. So kind of a fun thing that we're able to do. If you want to see what it looks like, it's It's fun. And Gordy was awesome today. We talked some NBA playoffs. Took a trip down memory lane to talk flu game. I actually tried to bait Gordy into telling me what he thinks happened. The story about eating the pizza. He ate the pizza, and the pizza was bad. Allegedly, okay? So we talked a little Jazz Bulls, talked about the current landscape of the NBA playoffs, and then we ranked the top 6 prospects in this year's NBA draft as the draft lottery is looming coming up on Sunday. We went top 6 because the Jazz are most likely to land at either 5 or 6. Small chance they could land at 7 or 8. But we're all hoping we see a top 3, 4 pick, and who knows, maybe finally on Sunday at 1 o'clock after we have taken care of our moms, send the flowers, send the cards, cook the meals, do the things, clean the house, whatever you need to do to take care of mom. And then we'll sit down at 1 o'clock on Sunday and hope to see the number 1 pick revealed that it will be made by the Utah Jazz. John Rahm is saying that he's stuck at LIV. There's no way out. He's going to sign a deal with the DP World Tour, but he will not be back on the PGA Tour. But speaking of the PGA Championship, Phil Mickelson has withdrawn. I don't think anybody wants him around ever anyway. So that means Max Homa gets a spot in the PGA Championship. So the latest on the world of golf. Busy show. Get things rolling today with CK, Gordon Monson, Gordy Chiesa. Great guest list. 3 of my favorites. Me, Spence Checketts. All of you, the great listeners, on this cold, chilly, rainy Tuesday afternoon. And lifelong suffering New York Knicks fan, Porter Larson. Dude, I'm telling you, I don't know. I thought Boston was going to win the East. Embiid looked tired and hurt last night. And the Knicks right now are the favorite to win the Eastern Conference and go to the NBA Finals. What do you think?
I mean, they've looked the part over the last week or so. And as you mentioned, both of us had a lot of skepticism about the matchup, Joel Embiid and Karl Anthony Towns, a lot of history there. I still am worried about what Joel Embiid can do as far as his impact on this series. That's really the only X factor I have with how this game goes, right? There's only a select handful of players who on any given night, you can look at their stat sheet and see a 40, 13 and 6, and it's not super surprising. He's one of them. So that's still the focus, I think, on the series. But man, 25-plus point wins, if you keep racking those up, it's going to be hard for us to be too worried. So pleased, for sure, with how they've looked over the last week.
How much time today would you like me to spend on the Austin Rivers Draymond Green beef?
I'll give you 10 seconds right here.
No, I don't want to.
Okay.
I'm just wondering if you've been following it back and forth.
Not even a little bit.
All right, fair enough. All right, let's get to CK. Maybe we'll get CK's take on Austin Rivers and Draymond Green and going back and forth. We'll do mostly college football, Chris, today. But before Chris joins us live in studio on a Tuesday afternoon, it is time for your opening tip, brought to you by our good friends at IFA Country Stores. With IFA's Weed and Feed, you'll grow strong, healthy, dark green turf without a weed in sight. It's the ultimate lawn owner power move now at IFA.coop or at one of your local stores. So the NBA playoffs got really interesting last night. Of course, there's a long way to go, but we'll start out this way, where the Minnesota Timberwolves, despite 12 block shots, and the interesting thing is if you watch the game, Wembanyama blocked 12 and changed 25, and Minnesota still won. Now, if you're a San Antonio Spurs fan, if you want to see this young Spurs team advance, and look, if you're a basketball fan, what you want is San Antonio OKC. Like every data point, every metric indicates that they're the 2 best teams left, and it's really not that close. The Thunder are favored by 15.5 points tonight over Lakers. But San Antonio, a pretty healthy favorite last night over Minnesota. So if you're hoping to see San Antonio advance, what you look at is that De'Aaron Fox and Victor Wembanyama went 10 of 31 from the floor and 0 of 12 from 3. Okay, so for all of Wembanyama's greatness and his uniqueness and his brilliance, I mean, it is unbelievable to watch this kid play basketball. Last night, when you look at the stat line, 11 points, 15 boards, as I referenced, 12 blocks, 5 assists, only 3 turnovers in 40 minutes of play. He looked hesitant to shoot the 3, and when he did, it didn't look comfortable. It didn't hit any of his 8 3-point shots. For a guy that big and tall, you want a little bit more action going to the rim. Now, ultimately, what makes him such a unicorn is he is 7 foot a million, and he can dribble, pass, and shoot. We just have never seen it before. But a lot of settling for fadeaway jump shots down the stretch when he got a couple of offensive rebounds, could have kicked it out for open threes, forced some action, missed some weird shots. And if you're going to take 17, you can't just make 5. I mean, it's not that hard to figure out. But for all of Wembanyama's brilliance, De'Aaron Fox and Harrison Barnes, to a lesser extent, are the grown-ups in the room that have seen these moments before. Harrison Barnes is an NBA champ. De'Aaron Fox has been in the league forever. You know, when you look at Devin Vassell, Stephon Castle, Keldon Johnson, who had a pretty solid 24 minutes, Dylan Harper, all of these other players are still in their first, second, third year of their career, and most of them are experiencing playoff basketball for the first time. De'Aaron Fox, 33 minutes, 5 of 14, 0 of 4 from 3, 6 turnovers, not good enough, okay? So you can talk yourself into, okay, all of that being said, with the shooting percentages being so atrocious, you still only lost by 2. But Minnesota is an interesting team to consider because the narrative that surrounds pro basketball and the postseason tournament that we know as the playoffs is that you need to see it and develop muscle memory and understand how to traverse the space before you can win championships and lift trophies. And Minnesota, with this group, for the most part, has had multiple playoff runs, one Western Conference final run, a couple of second-round runs. And look, as a Knick fan, I'm well aware of how wild the Julius Randle experience could be. But that dude has been in the league for a long time. He is not afraid, and he's seen a lot of things. He had 21 last night. It took 20 shots to get there. 21 and 10, 5 turnovers. It's actually a quintessential Julius Randle experience. But down the stretch, when they needed a play made because Ant appears to be compromised, they went to Julius Randle, who has seen the moment. Rudy Gobert, 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, former Jazz man, obviously a future Hall of Famer. He did affect Victor Wembanyama and that shooting percentage, just like we saw him affect Nikola Jokic. You got to give Rudy a lot of credit. Mike Conley, former Jazz man, hit a massive 3-point shot down the stretch, went 4 of 7 from 3, had 12.6 assists in 24 minutes. And this Terrence Shannon Jr. kid, if you ever watched him in college, you could tell that he had some juice, and he's not afraid of the moment either. Naz Reid has won 6th Man of the Year. He comes in 30 minutes, 5 of 8, 12 points, 9 boards. And then they get 25 minutes out of Ant. He goes 8 of 13, 2 of 3 from 3. He gives you 18 points in 25 minutes, made some loose decisions down the stretch with a bad turnover. He admitted as much after the game. So you've got this kind of under-the-radar veteran group in Minnesota that most people thought would lose to Denver, and an upstart San Antonio team that wasn't really pushed in the first round, quite frankly, that has never experienced this before. I don't think I'd go out on a limb to say Minnesota is going to win this series, but if you're a Spurs fan, or if you just want to see San Antonio OKC like most of us basketball fans want, there were some things about last night that I think were concerning. Real quick over to the East. The New York Knicks have not played in the NBA Finals since 1999, and I have been heartbroken by this organization more times than I'd care to consider, so I'm not going to put the cart ahead of the horse. 3 straight wins, 25 points or more. That's never happened in the playoffs before. Embiid looked hurt last night. It's been elite shot making from some of their fringe players. Jalen's going to do what Jalen does. Cat looks like a different player. He does. We'll see what happens between Detroit and Cleveland tonight. But as of right now, I think the New York Knicks are your favorite to win the Eastern Conference. So the NBA playoffs are rolling along. We'll get back to NBA playoffs with Gordy Chiesa. We'll do some story time with Gordy. We'll talk Jazz Bulls. Flu game, the most highly watched basketball game in the history of the sport, was played here in 1998. We'll talk about that with Gordy. We're going to rank the top 6 prospects in the draft. So that comes your way in the 4 o'clock hour. But coming up next, we switch gears to some college football. Chris Camerani, live in studio on ESPN 700. Don't bob your head. Don't dance and get excited.
A little Alan Jack. I love it.
All right.
Good pick, CK.
Okay, so we are going against, we're going against the code of this show. We're going to play country music all day long because Porter has earned it. He's wearing a Wrangler T-shirt today. And so our first selection was made by none other than Chris Camerani, who's live in studio. Hey, man.
How's it going?
Alan Jackson.
Yeah.
Wait, is that why you chose country today? It's because of my T-shirt?
No, we were just debating what we wanted the theme to be, and I think we've exhausted. We've done 60s, 70s, 80s, one-hit wonders. Next time we need to do Dave Deep Tracks. We haven't done that yet.
Well, we only do deep tracks.
No, unfortunately, Porter doesn't know any, so it's all like,
He hasn't learned.
We follow the code of Andy Bernard on this radio show. I'm not familiar with Alan Jackson. What motivated this selection?
Porter, can you believe what this guy just said?
I don't know anything about country music.
It is a little interesting. That's one of the bigger.
Come on, dude.
Well, I've heard of him,
Okay.
but I don't like which song is this?
Called Gone Country.
Okay.
He's gone country.
Okay.
We've gone country. The drive has gone country.
It has today on a Tuesday. Porter has earned it on the program. Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
What? So we're going to change it to Champions League so you can watch
Because
Arsenal.
That's important.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
What has your attention right now? It's the deadest
in
of
what?
Well, it's the college football is kind of your main gig for the Athletic.
Yeah.
And it's the deadest of dead times in college football right now.
Yeah, this is the time where I have to fire up the creative juices.
Yeah.
The synapses need to be going. It's hard to fire them on a day like this. Today's a day where, all I really wanted to do was watch television.
Well, I appreciate you at least breaking up the monotony for joining us
Thank
for an
you.
hour today.
You're welcome.
I feel like your creative juices I feel like that's where you stand. I think your best work is when it's not like, hey, will Devin Dampier perform under Kevin McGibbon? I feel like your best work is when you kind of spread your wings a little bit.
Well, once upon a time, I had to be that guy. I now have the luxury of not having to do it because I think, and I've said this before on the show, I think beat writers do the hardest job of anybody because I think that is a mental, emotional, sometimes physical grind. But yeah, May is really when things hit the skids because spring ball is in the rearview mirror. Coaches take vacation. This is really kind of the only month that people tend to go quiet.
Right.
Because then end of June, you start to get people back in town, doing lifts, doing strength training, all that kind of stuff.
Gain season?
Gains.
Nice.
Q3.
Yeah.
So yeah, what do we got? See, this is compelling stuff.
So look, Champions League soccer is very intense. It's fun to watch. So we got Arsenal, Atletico.
Yep.
Is Atletico one of the teams in the mix for Gozo?
They have been linked.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
but
right.
confirmed or not, it's whatever some folks are able to float out on the internet. Nothing that I've seen from a very reliable source. I mean, I should ask my guy Tommy Scoops before coming on. I know that Aston Villa has shown the most interest.
Can I tell you something I heard?
You got a scoop?
I have a scoop, and this is a rumor. I'm not reporting, okay? It's just a rumor.
We're going to get aggregated.
Well, Jason was on the show yesterday, Jason Kreis. I believe. I pitched a marketing campaign around him when he was our first player. I believe in Kreis.
Yeah.
My dad said no, which, just trying to be creative. And he said, I asked him right out of the gates, are you guys going to move Gozo this summer? And he basically alluded to the fact that there is an offer, but it's not even worth countering.
Wow.
And I've heard it's like $7-8 million.
Ooh, that's low.
It's not even close. He alluded, we don't even want to call him back. Right?
And I wouldn't. I mean, for those of us who spent too much time during COVID playing FIFA,
you and me,
manager mode,
JP,
you would approach a club, and you would naturally
you're making
keep
me
the books clean.
Yeah,
you lowball them.
Yep.
See what they would counter with.
Yeah.
So you can't necessarily fault the club who is showing interest, but if we're talking from an RSL perspective, you're definitely not going to sell low or remotely close to.
Did you ever do the create your own player career mode?
I think I did. I think I did it with my son. I think that was the year Leo was born. Made him a left back.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
Who was your club?
I think it was Ajax or some.
You have to start
some hipster club.
Don't you have to start at a lower division and work your way up? If I remember that.
I think you do.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice you did it with your son.
Yeah.
Because I did it with myself when I was an attacker. And
you're,
what? You
little
were
neurotic.
Oh, my gosh. Actually, I thought you were going to drop another word.
Oh, no. I mean, you're the star of the show.
Well, I thought everybody does it with themselves for player mode.
Connor would probably be stoked if he knew that you made him a attacking midfielder.
What are you doing today? Gosh.
We've gone country.
This is you're hurting my feelings. Is there anyone out there that's ever done player mode with a video game that hasn't created themselves besides Chris?
No. Historically, it always has been me. But this time, I was like, now that I'm a parent, I'm like, can I kick the can down the road? Can I live more vicariously through a fake version of
being attacked on my own radio show today by my friend Chris? I'm getting nostalgic.
Dude, I'm telling you, man.
That was fun.
Those were the days when Amanda was like, "Really? You're gonna take the TV again for the next hour?"
Yeah.
But what were we doing? It was 4 p.m. on a Saturday.
Yeah. Well, or 11:30 on a Monday. When I got the CK text that just said FIFA ? I'm like, okay, I can escape the fact that I think the world is ending for a little while.
Yeah.
Play a little FIFA.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
that's an interesting. I mean, if we're talking 8 and 9, I mean, like I said, I think I said last week on the show, I was like, I think you kind of have to draw the line at 20.
Well,
depending on if he continues to score a goal, if he hits the skids. I mean, he came out and said it himself, like you guys talked about on Talkin' Real.
Thursday nights, 10:35, KMYU.
And granted, this is when the player and the agent have a lot of sway. And I wasn't able to listen to what Jason said, but I would imagine that he said something similar. Is that this is when the seas tend to part a little bit, and you want to keep it as functional and respectful as possible, but this is where allegiances tend to fray a little bit.
Yeah. Well, thanks for listening. Ultimately, you're right. You do start with a lower bid. And maybe you're familiar with this because Dunny drew a parallel to a player that Chicago moved to Aston Villa.
Duran.
Okay, and that's 15 mil.
Yep.
So Dunny's assertion, and look, you guys are the experts with this, right? So Dunny's assertion is Gozo is that and maybe more. Not necessarily the price tag, but he thinks he can be a better player. So if you're buying that guy for 15 mil, and if you're Jason and Kurt, then you've got to start there, right? Like, let's start at 15 and see if we can go up from there.
Different caliber player, younger player. I do think American attacking players have more of a marketability, especially in England. Granted, we haven't seen a bunch of them go over there and succeed. Like Christian Pulisic, he won a Champions League with Chelsea, but he didn't star like the way he is at AC Milan. Gozo just barely turned 19 in March.
Yeah.
Duran was more of kind of a pure forward. And Gozo, I think what he has going for him is just how versatile he is. Like, we've seen that, like, he's been unlocked, so to speak, in a position where even last year I think people are like, oh, he's a pure winger. Like, just let him go loose one-on-one. But now, like, he's able to take advantage of this role in this system and do that and then some.
Yeah, and there will always be this side of me that never leans into the whole, like, because he could actually be like a perfect face for RSL. He's a local kid.
He's a perfect face for RSL.
He's well-spoken. He's a good player.
Yeah.
And so there will always be the side of me that's like, keep him around and just let him grow here. And I know that's probably blind in a lot of ways.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think this is where the tricky part comes in, and this is where the ambitions that I mentioned that are going in different directions seem to fray a little bit, because if you're RSL, they could make an argument that staying here for the next year will benefit him. He'll get more playing time. He'll get more experience.
Yeah.
If you go abroad, you're kind of starting at the bottom of the ladder. Like, even though you'll come in as a highly, touted transfer, like, you're going to have to be going up against guys who are the best in the world.
Yeah.
That's just not the case here. I mean, like, look at what happened with Andres Gomez. Like, he went to France and never cracked the rotation.
Yeah.
And now he's like in Brazil or something on loan. So it's this give and take where, does it make sense for Gozo to spend another year or two in MLS? I don't know, man. I think it depends, like, on this run of form, the World Cup break will maybe not work to his, in his favor in that sense, because there won't be many games. And I don't think he has. I mean, there are a lot of folks who cover the national team who are like, if Gozo continues to go on this scoring tear, how does Mauricio Pochettino not even call him in, give him a flyer, that kind of thing? And, maybe the coaches are taking a look at him because he is an electrifying young player. But it is this really interesting kind of push-pull that a lot of young American talents in MLS have had to face in recent years.
Just got a text from a source.
Okay.
Little birdie.
Little bird?
Cute little bird. The cutest of little birds.
It's our guy.
Whispers in my ear that this year, okay, so Gozo combined game-winning goals and game-winning assists, not just goals and assists. Game-winning goals, game-winning assists. He already has 5 on the season, which ties him for second all-time in MLS. If he has one more, he'll pass Josie Altidore. And the all-time in this league, game-winning goal contributions, there's 8 from Diego Fagundes, that guy.
Hey, you know who that is.
Freddie Adu on the list in 2005. Shout out to Freddie Adu. Dated JoJo. Little-known fact.
Well, and this doesn't account for that, specific subset of what we're being told, but he had that goal taken away from him in
That's
LA,
right. That's right.
Even though they lost.
Good
because
memory.
He bing-bonged it off the post and then the back of the keeper's head.
So Duran was a center back. So
I thought he was a center forward.
Again, this is a source.
Okay.
Future
maybe I'm losing my mind
future
here.
MLS PR Hall of Famer. Sold to a Saudi club for $60 million. Saudis, huh? You want to talk live golf? No.
Is it?
It's done. I think the Saudis are getting out of the sports washing business altogether.
Could have told you that.
You could have. You probably did at one point. All right. So let's stay in this space for a moment. Because I do want to kick the tires on some college football stuff with you coming up. We'll do that during our second segment in the 3:00 hour. Dunny broke down on last week's episode of Talkin' Real 8 different calls that have either gone against RSL or should have been called and weren't in favor of RSL. And over the past week, Kurt was pissed. Pablo was pissed.
Friend of the program. Friends.
And
plural.
To make it the holy triumvirate, Jason was more pragmatic. Jason was like, we got to control the controllables, all the things you think Jason would say. But you could tell Kurt was angry. And if you're Pablo, the problem with...
Was it, sorry to interrupt you, but was it the penalty or the lack of
both
of the red card not being shown?
Both.
Okay.
So like I said, Dunny broke down 8 different calls this year that have gone against RSL or should have been called. He's grinding tape in a way that I probably am not. So there's kind of this mindset, I think, that the calls will come back around at some point. They just don't seem to be coming back around. And the problem with missed calls or calls that should not have been made in soccer, they're so punitive if they lead to a penalty kick that leads to a goal that leads to a result. It's not you missed a foul, a charge on LeBron. No, you play on.
And it's compounded because there's VAR.
Right.
So it's like
right.
But it appears that the MLS pro refs apologize.
Exactly. So they have acknowledged we continue to blow it, but at some point if you're RSL, you got to feel pretty hard done. I'm not to blame the refs guy, but this is kind of a trend that it doesn't seem to be slowing down.
Yeah, I saw somewhere that I think since Pablo's taken over, RSL's had the least amount of penalties called.
I think San Diego's the only team that's had fewer.
Well, and Pablo's been coaching RSL longer than San Diego existed.
Exactly.
Yeah, it does seem to go that way. And again, if VAR wasn't in the mix, I would just be like, you know what? That's just the way the cookie crumbles. But the fact that you not only have a referee waiting, they have their own set of dudes and gals.
It's in Dallas, right?
I think so, out somewhere.
Yeah.
But how can you mess up twice? That's my whole thing. Is once upon a time, Scott Garlick would come out of the goal, cleats up.
My guy.
PK, that's the way it would go.
Real estate mogul Scott Garlick.
I know.
Okay.
But now it's, I guess you could look at it 2 ways. Glass half full, RSL's had this kind of start. And I guess you could really only blame the Galaxy result so far, right?
Was it Vancouver? Was that the first game?
Vancouver was the first game.
I guess there was a red mist.
Okay, red mist. Okay,
that's what Dunny said.
Okay. Well, I stand corrected then.
I mean, 2 of the 3 losses. I don't know.
You're right. 2 of the 3 losses. Everything, like you said, I want to believe that everything balances itself out in the end. The season is insanely long. They've only played, 9 games, 10 games?
6-3-1.
So, 10 games. Yeah. And we're going to have a longer break because it's a World Cup year. So, we'll see how this goes. But I saw somewhere that, Pablo mentioned that, he spent, an hour or something on, a call with MLS Pro refs, and they basically apologized to him.
Yes, correct.
Got to be better. Just got to.
It just doesn't feel like, the game has improved. Owners are billionaires. The fees to bring players over here have grown. I mean, hell, Lionel Messi played soccer in Sandy, Utah. Soccer-specific stadiums. The stadiums are much better than they used to be. It's like the one thing that hasn't grown in this league is the officiating. At least that's how it feels.
Well, yeah. And again, I'm just going to keep beating this drum. If you're having a panel of folks who are independent, if they're in a totally different area watching this game from a totally different viewpoint than the center official or the fourth official, they need to be telling you what to do.
Yeah.
They need to say, maybe take a look at this. And it's one thing to be like, oh, maybe it was a missed yellow that could have been a second yellow, which would have been a red. But if we're talking about missed straight red cards and missed penalty, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It accumulates over time, and you can understand why this plays a role into the whole small market thing. The world is against us.
Well, and that's the thing, because I don't know what to make of it. There really is no party that believe the refs are out to get little old RSL because we're out here in the Rockies. I don't believe that. But you do hear...
There's an altitude bias, Spence.
That's a new one.
Yeah.
You do hear all the time, nobody wants us to win anything out here. And no part of me believes that. But if I'm Pablo, I'm pissed. I guess they invited Pablo to go watch MLS training. How they train their officials, and Pablo's like, no, I'm not
going to waste my time.
I'm not taking my off day to fly to Dallas to watch how you train your refs.
Go to Frisco.
Oh, not
Never
the spot.
been.
Do you want to come with me to Big 12 Media Days this year? That's a no. Are you sure?
Are they at Jerry World or fake Jerry World?
They're Jerry World, right? Aren't they, Porter? Yeah, they're in Frisco.
Yeah.
What if I paid for your flight and your hotel room?
Only if I'm flying Delta One.
Did you hear?
I want to sleep from here to Dallas.
You want me to buy you a Delta One seat?
Yeah.
Porter, you think we can expense that?
You got that TV money now, bro. Come on.
What do you think would happen if I bought CK a Delta One seat? And what sort of hotel room would you like?
Oh, I don't care about that.
Oh, you don't care about that?
I'll do Holiday Inn.
No, we're staying at the Omni down there. No,
wow.
It's fine.
Okay.
Somebody has a deal. So if I get you a Delta One seat, and a room at the Omni, you'll come.
Well, when is it?
July.
Yeah, I'm out. I got important stuff going on.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Mother's Day coming up. By the way, you ready?
No, I'm not a good gift person.
Just get her flowers, bro.
Yeah.
Amanda doesn't seem to be
a
super
card and flowers.
She doesn't seem to be a super needy, emotionally overreact.
No.
By the way, how did you find one that isn't needy and emotionally overreact? Sorry.
Put me on the spot.
We'll talk off air. Did you see the announcement that starting on May 19th, Delta is no longer giving free snacks? We got to pay for the Cheez-Its. We got to pay for the peanuts.
Casualties of war.
No more free snacks. No more free drinks.
Are you serious?
If you get on a Delta flight.
So this is straight up what's that really crappy airline where you have to pay for everything?
Oh, Spirit Airlines is dead now. Did you hear about that?
I heard about
there
Spirit.
Were people at the airport waiting to get on a Spirit Airlines flight. We're not a company anymore. We don't exist.
Oh,
good
no,
luck.
I'm thinking of Allegiant is the one where you have to pay for water. They're you're going to be on this 6-hour flight to Harrisburg, Virginia. Good luck.
You've got to do it on Delta now.
That's astonishing.
No more self-serve fountain drinks at McDonald's either.
What?
Yeah. The experiment's ending.
What is happening to our economy? What is happening to our country? Do you want to dig into that for a minute? No, we won't. Here's the biggest issue with Delta not giving free snacks and drinks. What happened to me on my last flight home is about to happen to everybody, which is people are going to start bringing food onto the plane.
Which is if we're talking about if we're going to honor Sean O'Connell.
Shout out, Sean.
And what is his thing? Gripes?
Oh, airing of the grievances on Fridays. Yes.
Airing of grievances.
Yeah.
Might be a top 3.
I think
bringing food on plane.
It's about as bad as it gets.
Mix it in with the people who are in line at Cafe Rio at 7 a.m. getting like a Cafe Rio. I'm just like, guys, everyone here needs to man up. We all need to go buy an overpriced protein bar, $5.
Mm-hmm.
Just own it.
Yeah.
But we do not need your smothered pork burrito at 7 a.m. on this flight.
Exactly. And it was even worse. What happened on my last flight is I get on, ready to do the thing, in coach, because I'm a man of the people, as everybody knows. And a lady gets on with a Panda Express bag, plops down next to me, has some sort of chicken beef situation, shamelessly cracks it open, scarfs it down, and it smelled like Panda Express and human flatulence for 3 hours. It was so gross.
Where were you coming from or going to?
It's coming from Cabo.
She got Cabo in She got Panda in
Panda
Cabo?
Express at the Cabo airport.
I mean, listen, everybody wants to dance with the devil. She did.
Yeah. Well, and remember, everyone coming back from Cabo was probably detoxing of sorts, so it was a rough plane situation.
Well, I mean, like, I would assume that type of food soaks in the toxins
probably
that you've consumed.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to bring in Shelly live in studio. I want to let you know that there's nothing like taking in a game on a sunny afternoon. You can get your field ready this summer with IFA's 4+ lawn care program. It's a blend especially formulated for Utah soils. Get healthy, lush, dark green grass this summer by making your power move today at IFA. My friend Shelly, Wasatch Med, how are you? Great to see you.
I'm doing great, thanks. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for joining me live in studio with my guy, Chris Kamrani. So, Wasatch Med, you guys may have heard us talk about it. Shelly, it's a new treatment that is now in our market as a result of the services you offer. Let's start with just an overview. Like, who are the best candidates for this Apex RF treatment?
Okay, so Apex RF is radio frequency heat treatment to help with mild to moderate ED or any type of sexual dysfunction. It can help improve those who feel like they don't have those issues and to prevent the age-related changes that just happen when we age. It improves blood flow and collagen growth, and so candidates would be anyone who wants to improve their sexual function and mild to moderate ED.
I liked what you said when you joined me over the phone. Size, girth, sensation, duration, right?
Yes.
Those 4 things. So let's talk to a group of people out there that don't think they need this, because that's where I was at. Because you were so kind to be like, hey, let's just put you through the process. And what did I say to you?
You said, I have no issues in this department.
Correct.
Is there any downside?
Yes, and you said no, and you were right. Through 6 treatments, and honestly, after the very first one. We're talking about men's sexual wellness, so if there are little ears in the car, you might want to turn this down, because I'll tell you, I just noticed after the first treatment, I'm in the shower, I'm like, what's this? What's going on here? So that's as delicate as I can be about my experience. But for the people out there like me that don't think they need it, what sort of feedback have you received as far as the results that they've seen?
So when I first got this machine, I was the first in Utah to get this technology. And I had all of the husbands of my staff go through the treatments because we needed feedback. None of them thought they needed it.
Yeah.
And every one of them saw improvement if they finished the series. And they were all shocked.
Including, I want to say it's Caroline.
Yes.
Who is 30.
Yes.
And her husband is 30. So I think a lot of people probably when they hear stuff like this, like, okay, these are for guys in their 50s, 60s, 70s. No, this kid was 30 and he saw improvement, which is kind of wild to think about.
He tells all his friends about it.
Yeah.
Everyone needs it.
Yeah. And most important part, partner feedback has been through the roof. Yeah.
For sure.
Good.
Especially for women who really struggle with time to climax. It really helps the partner.
Awesome. Okay.
So do a favor for your wife.
Yeah, and Mother's Day is coming up. Okay.
Yes.
So let's give moms the gift they need. Very special offer for our listeners that will save them a lot of money as they get started. Let's hear about it.
Yes. So anyone who mentions ESPN Radio will get 50% off their first treatment. It's a free consult anyway. which is a $300 savings. Is that 50% off?
There you go. So free consultation, no obligation. Definitely start there. Go to Wasatch. It's wasatchmedicalspa.com, right? So go to wasatchmedicalspa.com, wasatchmedicalspa.com, wasatchmedicalspa.com. Book your appointment. Save $300. Get that free consultation. Shelley, great to see you.
Thank you.
All right, more with CK coming up next on ESPN 700. Jimmy Buffett.
Come on, man.
Well, I don't know. Who is it? Is this more Alan Jackson?
No, this is Timmy Mack. T-Mac as the...
We called Tim McGraw T-Mac in country circles.
We can.
Is he still married to Faith Hill?
I don't think so.
Knowledge. Country
you said
knowledge.
Jimmy Buffett. Shame on you.
Well, it sounded like a celebratory type. We're on the beach drinking tequila start. I don't know.
It is
No.
a birthday angled song.
Is it Tim McGraw's birthday today?
No.
Whose birthday is it then?
The song is
It's somebody's birthday, Spence.
Okay, fine. Country music on the show today. I'm receiving angry text messages from people that don't like country. But just deal with it. We don't do it very much, and we're setting Porter loose. Fly away, little birdie. Spread those wings.
Did I get
We
fired?
should have done it
No,
on
you
like
did
a more.
not.
We should have done it on like a more sunny, warm day.
Yeah,
Today maybe it should have been a little some sad.
yeah.
Some sad.
Well, I'm going to go on a
downer
limb,
music.
and there's a lot of sad country music, isn't there?
Oh, I'm sure there is.
Yeah. I feel like all the country songs I hear currently with the new crop,
Heartbroken.
it goes like this. The dude comes in. He's like, I'm drinking too much whiskey. Then they bring in a female country artist. It's like, hey, love you. Please don't drink that much whiskey. Then he comes back in. He's like, I'm going to stop drinking whiskey. And the final verse is like, we're back together.
Yeah,
It's kind of how it goes.
There's an. I don't think Porter considers this country, but there's a popular country artist named Casey Musgraves.
Yes.
I don't know if you've heard of her.
She comes in on a Zach Bryan joint where he's like, I'm drinking too much whiskey. She's like, stop. I love you.
But all she does is talk about how her heart's broken, and she's this like gorgeous lady, and I'm like, what is she? Like who? Why is she picking?
Yeah.
These folks.
Stop
who
picking
are breaking her heart. Like
Yeah.
there are so many nice guys out there to not break your heart.
There
but-
are. This is a good message,
Yeah.
Chris. I like that.
Yeah.
All right. Unless you want to dig into private equity and talk S&P 500 in your
S&P.
and your
Yeah,
portfolio
Strong.
to quite strong,
Yeah.
I don't think you want to dig into those weeds, correct?
You're the captain of the ship, man.
Well, here's my question. So the news comes down that the Big 12, by the way, the Big 10 distributed $1.37 billion in revenue.
Yep.
Jeez.
Yep.
So Big 10's chilling, so is the SEC, but the Big 12 has to find a way to keep up. So they consummate this deal, long rumored, with Redbird Capital and Weatherford Capital. 12.5 goes to the league right away. That's step one. Then every other team in the Big 12, school in the Big 12, has the right to a credit line of $30.5 million. It is not cash. It is a credit line, which makes it a much different deal. My question to you is, the reporting here is these capital partners, these private equity bros who are sharks, as we talked about, they're not getting into this without some return on investment later on. They're expecting the payback in 2031 when the Big 12 goes to market for its new media rights deals. Now, there's a couple angles here because Redbird owns a piece of Paramount. So people are surmising, like, is there a back channel situation going on already that because Redbird is in bed with these media companies, will they have a deal ready for the Big 12? Here's my question, though. Like, the Pac-12 is still around.
The newest iteration of
It's just a much different deal. And if the rumors about college football landing in the space of two leagues are true, we know what the two leagues are going to be. It's going to be the SEC and the Big 10, and hopefully they'll take Utah and BYU and whoever else from the Big 12. But is a Big 12 with Houston, TCU, like the leftover Big 12, if it goes the way of the Pac-12, what's a reasonable media rights deal look like in 2031?
Well, that's a pretty tight turn to have to pay
Absolutely.
this money back. I mean, we're talking 5 years. What's very interesting to me is we've already seen 3 or 4 schools publicly in reporting turn this down. I think Houston, West Virginia, and UCF
Correct.
have said no thanks. And granted, I don't know the stake of their current financial situation, but I would have assumed those would have been the types of schools that would have said yes. I mean, Houston, Kelvin Sampson, we remember, basically said it into the microphone and said we're a poor athletic program despite being a great football or a great basketball program. So, and then if we bring it forward, is BYU going to accept it? No. Is Utah going to on the heels of its reported $500 million own private equity deal? Probably not. And we should explain to your listeners what a credit line is, Spence, because I don't know what it is, and I'm almost 40.
You know what it is.
You got to pay it back.
Well, in the most simple, in the simplest terms possible, have you ever had a credit card?
I think so.
You don't know this?
I have one.
Okay, so have you ever allowed a balance to go over month to month?
I have.
So then you see something that says interest charge on purchases, and you're like, wait, I bought a burrito for $18 and now it cost me $27 because I didn't pay it off at the end of the month.
Yep.
And that's something to keep in mind, because if you tap into this $30.5 million credit line and you're kicking the can down the road to 2031 and the media rights deal comes in and it's not enough to make that right, private equity has their tentacles in everything in the institution that generates revenue, your distributions, everything. And they will do everything they can to make sure that they get their original investment back and then get the return they were promised. That's the slippery slope here.
I agree. And I think the only thing that the Big 12 maybe has going for it is its biggest backer is Cody Campbell, but he's more of a Texas Tech backer, which is currently the crown jewel of the conference. But I don't know if he's going to necessarily want to swing his sword in the direction of 15 other schools when this, like, the Big 12, until it announces itself on the football stage as a power player, it's still third fiddle, man. I mean, it's still vying for third fiddle with the ACC.
By far. I mean, any college football story, you guys over The Athletic, Schleba, whoever at ESPN, when there's a story about decision-making, when a story comes out about, hey, there are meetings next week about the expanded CFP, there are meetings next week about the next round of media rights, it's all Big Ten and SEC. Mm-hmm. And like, hey, sure, Yormark, you can fly coach and you can join our meeting, but we're up here in Delta One hanging out. We're going to let you on the plane, but you're not sitting at our lunch table.
You have to pay for your own snacks.
And yes, exactly. Even the peanuts and the water, Yormark. You can be on the plane.
What about the Cheez-Its?
You got to pay for the Cheez-Its now.
I am aghast.
Delta. And I'm a Delta snob like you.
I am, but now my wife she's been on the edge lately because Salt Lake is like apparently one of the most expensive airports in the country to fly in and out of in the last like 6 months. Yeah. And she's like, why don't we just go fly out of Provo? And I'm like, listen.
Oh, wow.
Listen. No.
Don't you turn your back on the Salt Lake City airport. But no, like the Big Ten and the SEC are at their own table, and they allow us seat for the other P4 conferences or whatever, the ACC and the Big 12, but it's clearly two leagues making the calls.
Well, and if you remember, it was the Big 10 who was like, yeah, we should probably expand to 24. Yeah. Like they're just, we're just going to make the decision on our own to throw that out there.
Right.
Like they have the heft to be able to do that and not get a ton of pushback. And if they do, in this news cycle, it just cycles through.
See, this is why I've never been a conference shill. This is why, like, when I saw Pac-12 stickers on cars, I'm like, what are you doing?
You loved those Pac-12 banners
in
Draper.
No, I didn't.
Remember?
Yes.
Were they like Pac-12 Pride or something? Yeah.
Like, Pac-12 stickers, and then BYU gets the Big 12 invite. It's like, this is Big 12 country. I'm like, give it 4 years. It might be no conference country, because this stuff continues to shift to the point that we don't know what it's going to look like. Let's do this exercise real quick. So the Big 10, SEC, okay, they dominate the landscape. If this sport turns into a NFL model with two conferences, we'll just use SEC and Big 12. I think they rebrand and call it something different. In the NFL, it's AFC, NFC. I don't know what they would do in college football, but we'll use that list for now. But if you look at the Big 12 teams, Chris, hypothetically speaking, let's say the sport moves into this model. SEC, Big 10, and then they choose who they want to invite from the Big 12. I'm going to go down the list. You say yes or no. Oklahoma State.
No.
Colorado.
No.
West Virginia.
No.
UCF.
No.
Kansas.
No. Maybe they just got the $300 million football stadium, but it's a maybe.
It's a maybe.
Football's the driver, man.
It is.
No offense to Bill Self and his recruits. Football's the driver.
Baylor.
No.
Really? Hard no.
Well, it's a private religious institution that they've been good in men's basketball and women's basketball, but
no, you're right. Cincinnati?
No.
TCU?
Nope.
K-State?
Nope.
Iowa State?
Mm-mm.
Arizona?
Nope.
Arizona State?
Maybe.
Houston?
Nope.
Utah?
Nope.
What? You don't think Utah gets the invite to this new
Oh, are we doing okay?
No, we're doing. We got 2 leagues: SEC, Big Ten, and then who gets invited to join them.
All right. Well, I'll say maybe.
BYU,
Maybe.
Texas Tech.
Yeah.
So you think one school in the Big 12 is a lock to be invited into the new reality of college football?
When the big boys look at who's in the Big 12, who impresses them? That would be my question to you.
Texas Tech. I think BYU does.
Money talks.
The complication with BYU is the private LDS-owned institution.
Yep.
But I think BYU in both football and basketball has shown we've got the cash to get the talent, and we can compete at the highest level.
Money talks.
I think Utah has too. I think Utah has done enough. Rose Bowls, Pac-12 championships, and football. The basketball thing obviously has to improve.
And the football thing's an unknown. We have to be honest. The football thing is a huge unknown considering the huge change that just underwent.
See, I think Kansas is interesting. I think Iowa State's interesting.
I don't think Iowa State's interesting. I guess I should have, one of the Texas schools would go. Outside of Texas Tech, maybe TCU.
Maybe TCU. Arizona.
But you already had, yeah. It's hard.
Well, so and you're the expert here. If what you're saying is correct, then this conference does have a media rights deal in 2031 that's lucrative. If they're just losing Tech, if they lose 2 or 3 schools, because I envision more like 5 or 6 Big 12 schools getting the invite to join the other 2.
But what type? Are we envisioning these schools being already part of huge media markets? And are these schools that are selling out their football games? These are the things you have to think about.
Utah does. BYU does.
Texas Tech does.
Texas Tech does.
After that, it's hairy, man.
Yeah.
It's dire straits.
Kansas basketball may not be enough to make up for a football team that's never been able to figure it out. So I was envisioning more 5 or 6 teams getting the invite and seeing a Big 12 left over with OK State, Colorado, West Virginia, UCF, Baylor, Cincy. What sort of media rights deal would that conference get? And how much of that would it be enough to appease the private equity partners that you're now in bed with?
Ooh, I doubt it.
That's the problem.
Here's the thing, man. This is going to sound super shallow, but you just have to have a few years in a row of really badass football. Otherwise, nobody's going to pay attention and nobody's going to care. Texas Tech flopping on the national stage last year against Oregon, scoring 0 points, not a great look.
Well, and the other thing that the committee or whatever has told us is that year in and year out, the Big 12 is a one-bid league in college football, year in and year out. And you got to win the conference to go. That's what they've told us. I don't know that I fully agree with it. But if you don't win the Big 12, you are not in the CFP. And that's what they've been yelling. And honestly, they tell us pretty early in the process.
And the problem with the truth of that is, if you're talking from a Big 12 homer perspective, is neither BYU or Utah were honestly close to Texas Tech last year. Texas Tech came in here and blew Utah away. I don't care what your folks say about it was close in the
rock quarter. Fight for 3 quarters, Chris.
There was no rocks. There were swords being thrown.
Mm-hmm. By the backup quarterback.
Correct. BYU, 2 shots. Defense played well for a few quarters. Offense could never get anything going. That's the problem. It is so insanely top-heavy. And then when your one representative gets to go on the big stage and flounders the way it did, Baron Morton maybe had a compromised ankle. Nobody cares, man. You have to put out a product that's good. And the Big 12 hasn't put out a good football product. It just hasn't.
You referenced the TV market, market size, and that's something that's always kind of plagued both BYU and Utah because we're a smaller market. We are growing. Be interesting to see what the data says now that hockey is here.
I thought you were going to say what the data center is going to do because, that's awesome.
We don't need to get into that today. But interesting to see if the ratings, the market rankings grow now that hockey is here. Is it as pertinent as it used to be as a result of the internet just making the world smaller?
I don't think so. But again, this is where being able to establish yourself as a really good to great program will take you. It doesn't matter. I know Oregon is maybe a bad or Washington. Washington is it's obviously in a huge media market in a huge city, but before Chris Peterson got there, Washington was pretty non-existent for the previous 10 to 15 years.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to be good, period, because it's not like Texas Tech is in some massive media market. They play in Lubbock.
They do.
You know, no one's pining for the Lubbock TV market.
But money talks.
Money talks, and then
when you
just
have it,
success on the field.
Success on the field, and, you know, once again, one of the top transfer portal teams, like, they were able to get a haul. Compared to Utah and BYU, the gap is pretty significant.
Joel Klatt did his top 25. He has both Utah and BYU in his top 25. I think BYU was 16 or 17, but Utah was still in the top 25. To your point, there are so many unknowns right now with a new coaching staff and a group of new players. And you look at most of the rankings, you look at the odds in Vegas. Tech is the overwhelming favorite. They deserve it. They're not just good, but they also have a very manageable schedule.
Do their odds change in the wake of the Brendan Sorsby stuff?
They did change, but they're still the favorite because now they're saying the Baron Morton or the Will Hammond kid is actually going to be able to play. He's throwing again. So if you look at the odds and the predictions, the team that most people believe can throw punches this year with them is BYU. Do you feel like the gap is closed a little bit?
I don't know. I mean, you lose Chase Roberts. Parker Kingston is no longer part of the program for obvious reasons. I know they're stoked about the kid that they brought in from Oregon. How many reliable playmakers do they have? They have Bear Bachmeier. LJ Martin coming back is huge. Don't know what their line situation is like necessarily. They were able to retain a couple key defensive pieces, even as Jay Hill leaves, which is huge. You have to, I mean, like anything, you have to see it play out. But it's easier to say, like, this team will be good when they go into the transfer portal and get a bunch of good players. BYU did. I mean, they got Kedu Olave, who was a Bingham High kid who was a stud at Cal. But I think BYU is a safer bet if you were to ask me today of, like, oh, I know you love to do your over-under. I would probably take an over of BYU versus Utah because Utah just has so many unknowns.
Yeah,
still.
BYU has more proven commodities coming back. And both of the schedules for BYU and Utah are pretty manageable. Utah does get BYU at home, but both of them avoid Tech. Tech avoids both of them. I mean, I think at this point, even with the the storyline with Sorsby, I still think you have to view Tech as the clear favorite in the conference.
Yeah.
Do you see two bids as a possibility?
No.
You've got to win the thing, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a massive hit. A bigger loss, Jason Beck or Jay Hill?
Great question. This is lead sports radio talk.
You know, this is going to be the sound we play to tease your interview.
Jason Beck.
Jason Beck, a bigger loss for Utah than Jay Hill is for BYU.
Yep.
Why?
Kalani Sitake spent 20 years as a defensive mind, was 10 years as a defensive coordinator. Granted, after he hired Jay, they took a next step because once upon a time recently, Kalani had to overtake defensive play calling duties, as you remember. Mm-hmm. But having him as the leader of that staff and understanding how he wants to play, totally different ballgame. What Jason Beck was able to do, finally stabilize the Utah offense. I guess not finally, because there were a couple of years where things were good under Andy.
Yeah.
But like the future seemed bright. But again, like as we've talked about, who's to say that even if the dominoes don't fall the way they did and Kyle ends up at Michigan, who's to say another huge Power 4 program doesn't come calling after Jason Beck?
Yep.
Because the proof is in the pudding.
Yep.
So I'll say Jason Beck.
All right, before I say you lose, so Matt Brown joined the show yesterday. Matt, very smart guy, Extra Points, college football newsletter. We're all still waiting on the information about Utah's deal with Otro Capital. Look at that. I was just on TV. That was weird. There I am again. Look at that.
So kind of like what we were talking about last segment. I won't hurt your feelings again, but go ahead.
No, you nearly dropped a term on air that would have been the meanest thing that any of my friends have ever said to me in my entire life. But still waiting on what this looks like. And the rumor of $500 million of capital infused to Utah, how much is going to the athletic department, how much is alleviating debt, how much is redoing the Huntsman, how much is touching up Rice. We have no idea. So Matt said his grandma request was denied and he had to file an appeal. What does that mean as a journalist? What's that process?
Well, it goes through the there's a specific office at the University of Utah that handles all of these requests, and usually they're filtered to specific departments that you can grammar whatever you want involving a public institution. Generally, when it's involving athletics, this office will let the athletic department know that it's going on. If you're gramming about, the English department, they'd let the English department know, so on and so forth. But not totally uncommon. These offices tend to drag their feet a lot when it comes to important stuff because they can. And I would not be surprised if there is a bigger reason behind that. But we are entering this really interesting time frame, whereas this broke, I think, my brain is total mush, but this happened during the season.
Towards the end of the year, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we're in May now.
Yeah.
And if there isn't a clear picture painted before the start of the season, which is in 3.5 months, you kind of have to wonder, and maybe it's on me to get on the horn and try to find some answers. But this is something where Taylor Randall, Mark Harlan, they need to answer these questions.
Right.
And they haven't.
Why do you think they responded to the grammar request about the emails concerning WIT and have continued to deny the request concerning this?
Well, I don't know how many requests Matt put in. Sometimes it depends on, and this is just in my experience, these offices, if they get several of the same type of request, they'll tackle those together because they can get them all done at one time, which is similar to what they had with the emails with Kyle.
Okay.
Because it wasn't just me, it wasn't just Josh, it was other folks, it wasn't just Jason. But with stuff like this, where the stakes are, pretty high, I would imagine that they want to make sure that all their T's are crossed, I's are dotted.
Good to see you, pal.
Thank you.
Chris Comrani from The Athletic. Gordon Monson's going to join us coming up live in studio in just a little bit. Gordy Chiesa later on for some Jazz and some NBA playoff action. But my friend Shelly from Wasatch Medical Spa is live in studio once again. Shelly, how are you?
I'm great, thank you.
Do you get bored listening to college football conversation?
I think it's fun. I don't get a lot of this at work.
I wouldn't imagine. Are you a sports fan of any kind?
I am a football fan. I
Okay.
have 5 boys, and they all played football, and my husband coaches at the high school. So
I did not know that. Very nice. Very nice. Well, look, you're in studio to talk about a new technology that you have brought to the market called Apex RF. You were good enough to let me go through it, so I recently completed my 6 treatments. Let's talk about, for this hit, how important and how serious you take training your staff to make sure that everyone knows exactly what they're doing, and then just the overall experience that people can expect.
Okay, so we have an integrative medicine practice. So we integrate all the latest cutting-edge technologies with Eastern medicine and Western medicine. And so when we found Apex RF, we were stoked because we've had the same technology for women for over 10 years, but there was really nothing available that's a good option for men who have sexual dysfunction or ED. Surgery, vacuum procedures, sound wave therapy that doesn't really work, and medication was really all there was. So now we have this RF technology that actually works because it targets the main reason why men have ED, which is poor blood flow, poor circulation, or diabetes. And so this will improve the blood flow, it will improve collagen, and it works. It will continue to work for about 6 to 12 weeks after you finish your series. It only gets better.
So it's interesting, and I shared this story with you off air. My guess would be we have listeners who are skeptical of this because we have had some, how shall I say, bad actors promise things that didn't turn out to be real. And unfortunately, people spend money and then they're like, wait a second, what's going on? So let's be clear. I was skeptical before I went through these treatments. And I told you during the break, I was stunned. I was surprised that it actually is a real thing and it actually does work. It's even after 1 treatment, Shelly. So I went through 6, and I do think it's important to underscore the message that we have for people that are out there like me. And when you asked me to do this, what did I say to you?
You said, is there any downside? I have no issues in this department.
Right. So I think there are plenty of people that are out there listening to this well, I don't need this at all. It's not about need. It's about improvement, right? And give me the 4 horsemen again. I like the terms that you use.
So it can help improve size, girth, sensation, and duration, as well as partner satisfaction.
Which is the most important thing. right? And that's the feedback you've received consistently. Yes?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you've allowed your staff to have their partners come through and do the treatment. Tell us about that.
So none of the men, the husbands of my staff, thought they needed these treatments, including my husband. And I asked them all to do it. And all of them who completed the series of 6 were also stunned at how well it worked, and even not having issues, the improvement that they saw in one or more of those areas.
And the age range is basically, it's for anybody, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyone with mild to moderate ED or who's just trying to improve their sexual wellness.
There you go. So we have a special offer with you in studio today for our listeners. Tell us about it.
So it's $300 off, which is 50% off your first treatment and the free consult if you mention the radio.
There you go. So make sure when you book your consultation, do it right now at wasatchmedicalspa.com. That's wasatchmedicalspa.com. wasatchmedicalspa.com. Book your treatment or book your consultation, which is free. Tell them you heard us talking about it on this show. They're going to hook you up with $300 off your first treatment with our friends at Wasatch Medical Spa. Shelley, thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, I'll catch a break. Gordon Monson live in studio coming up on ESPN 700. You know, kids, let's talk about a lesson that we need to dispel. They say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. I know Gordon Monson as hardcore classic rock, Beatles, Zeppelin, and he's live in studio, and now he's picking country music to play on air. What has happened to you?
Well, Porter came in and said, "You like country?"
Uh-huh.
And I said, "I like Old Dominion."
Okay.
I've seen Old Dominion in concert probably 4 times.
Okay, so Lisa bought tickets and said, we're doing this tonight.
Yes.
Okay.
That's about the way it went down.
Fair enough.
But I enjoyed it.
Good.
Yeah.
How are you, man?
I'm doing just fine for an old man.
It's good to see you.
I'm hanging in there.
So you got 18 holes in yesterday, huh?
Yeah, I did, and I got beat up a little bit, but I hit some good shots. You know what's so freaking weird is we were talking about clubs before we came on, and Spence, I have a 3-wood that my wife bought me because I was missing a 3-wood, and a high-end club.
Okay. Wouldn't expect anything less.
I got her clubs a year or 2 ago, and it's the same brand but different clubs. And I can't hit my 3-wood.
Oh.
I can't hit it. But I said yesterday, hey, let me try your 3-wood. Bombed it.
Huh.
Bombed it again.
Really?
Bombed it 3. I'm going to throw mine away. I'm going to use hers.
Real quick, why were you, when you say you were missing a 3-wood, did you just not have one or did you misplace yours?
I'd rather not discuss that.
You lost a club? You broke one.
No.
Gordon.
No, I didn't break it, but I may have lost it. But anyway.
Hold on. No. We're not getting out of that easy. How does one lose a 3-wood?
I think, one time I came home from work, and my daughter was having a party at our house, unannounced to me, and there was one of her friends out in the middle of our street hitting golf balls down the middle of the street with my golf clubs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, which daughter was this?
I better not single her out.
Now, I can't imagine you were very happy to come home and find that.
I was not very happy about that. But anyway, Wait. Up and ruined. I think I got rid of it.
Oh, I thought you were implying that a party goer stole your 3-wood.
No, that didn't happen, although... no, that didn't happen. But he might as well have.
I was going to say, sounds like something else happened, though.
There might have been a talking to.
Okay.
You know what I've decided? Now I have grandkids, right? And so this is the thing, Spence. I'm done with the disciplining and the stuff.
Yeah, you did the thing.
I can't even discipline my dog. My wife, the dog comes in. I love the dog.
Yeah.
The dog comes in and starts, it's a male thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like biting your legs for fun and stuff. And I say, Dom, don't do that. Stop.
Mm-hmm.
No. Just keeps on doing it. And I hear from the other room, my wife says, stops.
Really?
Completely. I can't even discipline the dog anymore.
Now, to be clear, this is your daughter's dog who now lives with you.
That's kind of the way it went down.
Okay.
Yeah. But I can't do it. I can't do it with my grandkids. Am I lazy? Am I worn out? Am I? Did I have some sort of life crisis? What happened? Why can I not discipline anybody anymore? Because maybe they don't listen?
Well, I think the explanation dates back to an interview you and I did with the great Jeff Van Gundy, who has 3 daughters.
Yes,
and when he found out you had 5,
mm-hmm.
he dropped on us the philosophy of every daughter counts as three children.
Yes, he did say that, and boy, that came home to me.
So you've basically raised 15 kids. So at this point of your life, you did the thing. You've earned the right to just enjoy the remaining situation.
I did. I spoil them all now, and my kids turned out fantastic. I'm really happy, and they're happy, and I'm happy that they're happy. But here's my philosophy on this, Spence. I wanted my kids to grow up to think, to learn to think for themselves.
Sure.
I wanted them to research things and figure them out for themselves because I don't want them living their life through my lens, right? And so I said, okay, no matter what it is, politics, religion, way you think, just figure these things out and you're all smart. You go ahead and do that. And I thought that was a great idea until they started disagreeing with me.
There you go. And how many of Aaron's friends were at her party that she threw?
It wasn't Aaron.
It wasn't Aaron?
No.
That's an upset.
No, yeah.
That's an upset.
It wasn't her, but I just, I don't have, I just spoil everybody now.
Well, that's a great thing.
Okay.
That's a great thing.
Well, I'm glad. That makes me feel a little better about it. I just thought I was becoming soft or weak or something in my old age, but I just don't want to. I don't want to do that anymore.
No, you've built a great life for you and your family. Enjoy it and take care of it. Like, they will learn. I'm sure they all appreciate it. I know all of them. They're all great girls. I'm sure they really appreciate the role you play in their life.
This is something that I think you will appreciate, Spence. I don't know if your listeners give a flying, what about it or not, but I was playing yesterday with my wife and another couple, and he's a great golfer. He ran the Bobby Jones tour for a while. He's very into golf and whatnot, but he hadn't seen us play for a while. And he saw us, and he pulled me aside, and he said, "Your wife's going to be better than you by the end of the season." And I said, "No way. That won't happen."
Okay.
It might happen. Well, I said, that won't happen. And I said, what will happen is she looks a lot better than me doing it. And he said, that's the same with everything,
Well, respectfully, Gordon, at this stage of the existence with you and Lisa, one of you still looks like an athlete, and the other one looks like it's just hanging on.
That's so true.
Is she still lifting aggressively?
Yeah, she lives.
Oh my
she does
gosh,
the whole thing. I mean, I don't want to get weird with it, but she may have a 6 in her age number, but she looks like she's about half that.
She's a beautiful lady, inside and out.
Mm-hmm. She loves you, Spence, and so I got to be careful about what I say. I don't want to, but I am. I'm everyone's sugar daddy now. That's what I am.
Wow.
It's just sort of give and give and give.
Wait, everyone's? I was going to say, I've got your cell. You'd be expecting a text and a Venmo request later on tonight.
Too much so, man. It's a good life.
Yeah.
I live a good life. I live a better life than I deserve, and I'm grateful.
I'm quite sure you do not miss the radio daily grind, correct?
I miss you.
Well, I miss you too, bud, but you're welcome in here as much as you want. You know that.
I don't know. Porter doesn't seem to really want me around that much.
I think, well, I was going to say, I think there might be a little bit of lost in translation because my understanding is at times we don't get text messages back. Is that fair to say, Porter?
Well,
it just takes some time sometimes.
Porter, I got this faulty phone. I don't know what the deal is.
Don't do the I'm old and confused thing. You don't have a faulty phone. Is that a 17?
I think it's a 16.
Okay, well, then it works just fine. It's a year old.
But I will tell you this, since this is a confessional.
Yeah.
My wife was laughing at me today because I had a doctor's appointment earlier.
Good.
And I wrote down 10:45. Well, it was at 10:15. I wrote down the wrong number, Spence.
You know you have a calendar in that phone. Why first of all, you wrote it down and then left it where? Like a yellow sticky that you put on the fridge?
I wrote down the wrong number.
But where did you write it?
I wrote it I think I wrote it on a calendar.
You have a calendar that you write on still?
Not usually, but I did.
Do you have a rotary phone at the house? Unbelievable.
Actually, we connect on our calls through Mabel, the operator.
Oh, back in the day. Yeah. I'm old enough to remember if you wanted to talk to your girlfriend, you had to call the house and actually talk to the dad.
Oh, man. Was that tough or what?
How many boyfriend calls did you have to field over the course of raising 5 daughters, calling the house to talk to Aaron or Taylor or whoever?
I had a philosophy that I didn't really want to get to know any of the guys until it got a little more serious.
It's fair.
So I ignored them.
You ignored them?
I ignored them. I didn't bring them in and sit them down and say, listen here, young fella. I just ignored them. It was like they didn't exist.
How did that land with your daughters? You tend to be a little bit of an intimidating fellow anyway.
Not particularly well.
I wouldn't think so.
No, it didn't go so well. Boy, Spence, when you were a kid, and this probably didn't happen to you because you've always been sort of a handsome devil.
Well said.
Did anybody ever, when you called up and asked out a girl on a date, did anybody ever turn you down?
Probably.
Did it hurt?
I think the success rate has been rather high.
Okay.
We'll humbly leave it there.
Yeah, I mean, we all did all right.
Yeah, no, I've had the nose. I think we all have. And dude, I'm still dating. I'm in my 40s. It's a tough land. Do not let Lisa out. I want to see Gordon Monson on a dating app. That's what I want to see.
No.
Do not let her out of your grasp. It does not get any better. In fact, it gets more chaotic.
Well, look. As you inferred earlier, my wife is healthier than I am.
Fair to say.
So she'll probably outlive me.
I would put money on that.
And I told her, I said, look, okay, if you have to get lonely after I'm gone, you go ahead and have, if you need a friend, go ahead and have a friend, but there will be no sexual relations.
Okay.
Or I will come back and haunt you.
Do I have your permission? If you pass, can I take Lisa to dinner?
Oh, that's not fair because you're a friend. So, I mean, I don't know. I just tease her with that, although I kind of mean it.
No, I was going to say, yeah, I know you mean it.
Some people, think, oh, just live a happy life, honey, whatever you have to do.
Yeah.
I guess maybe I'm too jealous to do that.
Well, the good news is you'd be dead. So I don't know that you would.
That is true.
You wouldn't feel the emotion of jealousy.
No, I guess you're right.
Because you'd be dead.
Yeah.
This is morbid. Let's get out of this space.
Do you think there's jealousy in the afterlife? I don't know.
I'm quite comfortable. I'll quote Iris DeMent. I'm quite comfortable letting the mystery be. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, none of us really knows a thing.
Speaking of which, while we're in this weird segment space, we'll do some sports
coming up next. Is that surprising to you?
No,
really?
Not at all. I love it. I miss it. I think about it all the time. I do want to ask you, were you more mad at me when your wife hugged me or when your daughter said I was hot?
Well, part of the problem with my wife's hug of you, it was full frontal.
Well, jeez, man. It was, yeah.
It was. Yeah.
And the best part is I was hugging her looking at you while I was hugging her and seeing like the smoke come out of your ears.
Oh man, boy, I had forgotten about my daughter saying you were hot.
Yeah,
she
you're not gonna sleep tonight now.
She said that. She really said that.
And you were mad at me for that.
Yeah, and I think my wife may have agreed with her.
Oh yeah, and for some reason the scoring was directed at me.
I should have been mad at them.
Well, I was born this way. What do you want me to do? Can I ask you a serious question that people ask me all the time? Over the past few years, you've leaned into a lot of harder topics. We've all have kind of known you, and I still to this day make sure that I'm on sltrib.com every day looking to see what you wrote so I can read it. I've always read your stuff, and I still do. I've had more than a few people ask me, like, hey, Gordon is writing a lot about religion and a lot about the church and a lot about, heavier topics than will the Mammoth win game 3 or whatever. And they always ask me what your motivation was in doing that. And I can't speak for you, nor would I ever try. So what would you share with people about the decision to kind of lean into some of this stuff?
Well, originally I was asked to. And then I got into it. And there are many things in life that I give a lot of thought to. And whether you agree with me or not, that's not the point. We all pursue things in our own way and discover things, much the way I told my daughters that it would be a good way for them to pursue their everything in their life. And I give a lot of thought to that stuff, not just sports. I love sports. I always have. I mean, you can't do what we've done, Spence, through the years. Oh, how many years on air for you now?
It's 20 now.
20 years of talking sports darn near every day. So you have to be absorbed into it in order to do that. And I have, for me, the radio number was about 30 years, and the writing number is like 45, 46, something like that. And so you have to love sports. But, man, I love other things, too. And I give a lot of thought to things that may not always be spelled out on the Agate page, So I just, it's interesting to me, and I don't mind voicing my opinion about that. And I think people are very passionate about sports in this community, but I think I've found out that they're pretty darn passionate about religion too.
Well, it's been interesting for me to gauge the reaction to these pieces that you write, and there's a lot of stay in your lane. There's a lot of you're a sports writer. There's a lot of dissent. And I feel like one of the things that you've always been able to do is bring up things that are a little bit controversial. And the other thing is I can always tell when a reader has only read your headline and has not read your article, not read your column. There's a big gap because I think a lot of people are just going to read a headline and decide they want to attack you. And oftentimes the headlines are so misleading. And I think what you do in a really fair way is take the space to write about things from all different angles. And sometimes there are opinions that might be a little bit controversial. But I feel like a lot of the blowback you receive are people that are just assuming that you're writing one thing or the other, that you're anti-Utah or you're anti-BYU or you're anti-LDS, heaven forbid. You've been a member your whole life and you still are in good standing. Like a lot of the things I read about people that are cracking on you for what you write, I don't feel like they're reading the entire thing.
That may be true, and people jump to conclusions. And a lot of times, if you're going to express opinion for a living, first of all, you better have thick skin, as you know, and but I don't. A lot of times, the reaction says as much about whoever is doing the reacting as it does about anything I write or say, and you know that.
Yep.
This has been my experience with religion, and see if this connects with you with sports as well, Spence, because you talk about important things on your show, and I'm not saying sports isn't important, but you edge off into this direction and that direction sometimes, thankfully so. This has been the reaction to my religion pieces. There are those who there are haters out there who want me to be super critical, especially of the LDS faith. They want me to go after the church and just do everything I can to tear it down, to criticize it. And those folks are over here. And that's there's a percentage there, but it's not huge, but it does exist. And then on the other side are the people that think I'm going to burn in hell for asking a few questions.
Yeah.
And I think asking questions is instructive. It's helpful for everyone, and everyone should ask questions. And that group is way over here. And then you got the people, and those people are mad at me just for even broaching the subject that I sometimes talk about or write about, and they think I'm going to burn in hell. But most of the people are in the middle. Most of the people are living regular lives. They're trying to live good lives. They want to live a good life. They're not perfect. They make mistakes, but they have thoughts that go through their mind, and they think these things through. And those are the thoughtful people. And I'm not saying that the people on the edge aren't thoughtful, but they seem to be determined, already set in a rut their own way, and they're going to believe what they believe, and they're not going to consider anything else. But most folks are in the middle who do have questions and do wonder about certain things that are worth wondering about.
Well, and that's well said, because what I try to do is not give credence to the internet is where cowards go to feel brave. The internet is where cowards go to feel brave. And if you're listening and you're one who posts online in an anonymous account to crack on people, you are a coward and you're part of the problem. And I'll take it a step further. I do think the folks on the margins don't think. I don't think they're thoughtful people. I do believe that we are run by extremists on both sides of each political party. We have crazy extremists on the right and the left that want to redefine what a man is, and then crazy extremists on the right that want to redefine what a patriot is. And I can't stand any of them. So what I try to do is just react on what react only off of what I see, what my eyes tell me in reality, not what cowards are posting online. And, you know, I think in this business, you can fall victim if you're being attacked by an online mob, which you and I have both been attacked by online mobs multiple times. Before you kind of have the view of what reality looks like and you're reacting too much of what's being said about you on the internet. I remember at one point, I didn't think I could leave my house. Like, everyone in this city is so mad at me right now. I can't even go grocery shopping, but I had to because I had no food. So
it was deeper than that, Spence. You're a brave person who stepped out into that wind blowing. And I'm telling you, it takes some courage. And I'm not saying you have to be a hero to do that, because it's pragmatic. Yeah. I mean, it's something you have to do, but you did it in a way that I think is worth complimenting.
No, I appreciate that. But guess what happened when I went to the grocery store?
You got accosted.
No, nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing happened.
Oh, good.
No, that's the point. Like, in my head, I'm like, everyone is really mad at me right now. I can't leave my house. And in reality, the people that were mad at me are just people that are online. angry about something, jealous about something, miserable about something, I went to Harmon's, I went grocery shopping, I came home. I'm like, dude, get out of your head.
Yeah.
Like most people in the real world do not exist on social media or online trying to crack on you all day. Just go live your life.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true.
Yeah.
But it can seem otherwise when it's targeted at you.
Right.
You know, and then you think, oh, it's all around me.
Yeah.
My wife used to tell me, people, don't worry about it. Don't be so absorbed about what's going on with you.
Yeah.
Just live your life.
Well, where I would get defensive of you is when people would make comments about your girls. That's what used to piss me off.
That happened.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I would see that, that's when I would go, okay, I'm going to look up this dude. I'm going to show up on his doorstep, and I'm going to beat him over the head with a baseball bat. That's what used to piss me off.
I made the determination a long time ago, Spence, not to react to just about anything.
Yeah.
I have reacted once or twice, probably because it involved my family.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I just let it be, and don't give it oxygen by reacting in any way.
It's never worth it.
Yeah.
And I haven't gone back and forth with anyone online in years, and I never will again.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Gordon, I have to ask you gently to behave yourself for the next little bit, okay?
My mouth is shut.
Porter, will you please turn his microphone off? Thank you. All right, my friend Shelly from Wasatch Medical Spa is live in studio. So, Gordon, you're not allowed to talk, but I would highly encourage you to listen because we're talking about men with sexual issues, okay? So we're talking about your mic's off. You can comment later on. So if there are littles in the car, okay, we're talking about men's sexual wellness, and Shelly from Wasatch Medical Spa is live in studio. Shelly, let's start here. You were good enough to let me go through this 6-session process, and it is a multiple session process, okay? You will see tangible results after one session, but is 6 the recommended? Is that the recommended number?
Most men will see improvement anywhere between 4 and 8.
4 and 8. Okay, and that's what the consultation will help with, correct? Mm-hmm. Consultation is free, by the way, at wasatchmedicalspa.com. So, you know, when it comes to a sensitive topic like this and simply a sensitive issue or a sensitive part of your body, it's like, wait, is this going to hurt? Is it going to be uncomfortable? And what I found was it wasn't that at all. It was relaxing. And I almost looked forward to it just so I could like take a nap during the middle of the day because you've developed a really beautiful place. It's very aesthetically pleasing, and it feels like a hot stone massage down low. So it's a very comfortable process. Everyone should know that.
Yes, and my staff make it very professional.
Yes.
We really focus on education. I'm a nurse practitioner for the last 23 years,
Mm-hmm.
and we are hormone experts
Mm-hmm.
in our practice. We have taken the most rigorous research-based hormone training available in the country several times over. And these procedures that we offer for men and women for their intimate wellness are just kind of like the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
We can help so much with hormones, but adding these things is so beneficial.
So it needs to be said out loud that a healthy sex life is part of a healthy relationship. And I think there are a lot of studies done, like when that goes out the window, then what are you, just roommates? Like, what's the point? So what sort of dynamic have you seen improved with this sex life of people that have gone through your treatment as far as what it does for relationships?
I have had so many couples tell me, you don't know how many marriages you're saving
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Because it really is a big part of your marriage and your relationship to make sure all the aspects are working.
Right. And there's a special offer you have on the table for my listeners who booked today. Let's hear about that.
So we always have a free consultation, and for those who mentioned this radio ad, it's $300 off, which is a 50% discount for your first treatment.
There you go. And I want to repeat the 4 things we talk about that do manifest quickly. Size, check. Girth, check. Sensation, check. Duration, check. That should be your new slogan.
Yes.
So if you're does. If you're interested in any or all of those, go to wasatchmedicalspa.com right now. wasatchmedicalspa.com, wasatchmedicalspa.com. When you book, tell them you heard this hit on air, and they're going to give you $300 off your first treatment and a free consultation. So, Gordon, once again, it's wasatchmedicalspa.com. All right, we'll catch a break. More with Gordon coming up next on ESPN 700. My guy Gordon Monson is live in studio. Longtime columnist from the Salt Lake Tribune, my old radio partner back in the day for a number of different years. Gordo, let's get into a couple of stories that you've written as of late. I'll tell you what, I don't know what you and I are kind of from the same area of the country, and hockey is big in the Northeast. I don't know what your hockey background is at all. I'll say this Mammoth stuff has been fun. I was down at Game 3, and Game Ops was awesome. It was a really cool experience. Unfortunately, the season's over. They lose in 6. But what do you make of this young Mammoth team?
It reminds me a lot of my experience with hockey as a kid. I was a junior high school and a high school student. But the Philadelphia Flyers were emerging just during that time. And I'm telling you, Spence, it caught fire. Because Philadelphia at that time was hurting for a winner, and the Flyers came along, and they had Broad Street bullies, and so there was that whole kind of intimidation factor. But kids my age started playing hockey. I played ice hockey. I played floor hockey. I went to the games. It became a big, big thing. It took a little time, and I think that will happen here. The arena is fantastic. What I wonder about is the community rallying around this yet. I don't know that, and I'm not quite sure how you measure it, but I think eventually it will come around, just like it did in Philly, and it became a big, big deal. And look, there's nothing wrong with more sports in Utah at a major league. This is the best hockey league in the world, and your team is right there in the Stanley Cup playoffs. That's pretty cool. Not only that, but they have these young players who are really good. They have lessons to learn, and we saw some of that. There was some sloppy. I'm not going to talk puck with you here, but there was some sloppy handling of the puck that really hurt the Mammoth at certain times, and that did not hurt Vegas because they seemed to have a little more seasoning. But it was fun to watch, and I love the sport, and I think a lot of sports fans around here will love it too.
I think from my perspective, the community has embraced it. In fact, more so than I thought they would right out of the gates. I'm surprised that we had all of these hockey fans waiting for this. Because you would go around town, you'd see a Vegas Golden Knights jersey, you'd see a Colorado Avalanche jersey, or maybe an old school like Grizzlies or Golden Eagles if we want to go way back in the day. And I have a lot of friends that play beer league hockey that are in their 30s and 40s that like to go skate. But every game I've been to, I look around, I'm like, oh my gosh, this feels like we've had hockey here for 20 years.
Well, there have been those fans that went through those different stages. Remember when the Grizzlies won the Turner Cup?
Yep.
They filled the Delta Center for that event.
Yep.
And the folks are here. Could have been somewhat latent, but playing at the level of the NHL, I think that's something that it's just a matter of time before it becomes just about Jazz level. It's hard to measure with the Jazz right now because they've been doing what they've been doing for 4 years now. So that's diminished, but I think both of them will be rising in the seasons ahead.
Well, look, Utahns, they want a team that shows up, plays hard, and maximizes their talent. And that was John and Carl and Jerry to a T. Darren and Booze, Donovan and Rudy, maybe there's an argument there that there was more meat on that bone, but Danny decided to tear it down. And I'm telling you, the hockey culture is different than the NBA right now. The NBA right now is a culture of, okay, for Christmas, I'm buying my kid Jazz Lakers tickets because he loves LeBron. And then that day you get an alert that LeBron didn't even fly to Salt Lake. And you're like, wait, what? And there's no consideration made for it. Or you cheer for a basketball team that doesn't even play its best players like the Jazz haven't for the past 4 years. And I feel like the Mammoth have kind of been this antidote, this like option to lean into because they show up and play. They show up and play hurt. They show up and play, and then they get their teeth knocked out, and they keep playing. I mean, you cannot knock these guys down. And I don't know what your experience has been. I have a lot of friends who are Jazz fans that are just kind of like, what are we doing here? And they believe that in this landscape of pro basketball and the new lottery reform is bad for small market teams. It's flattened the odds. It's extended the lottery. And so now like Oklahoma City could get like the number one pick, after winning 60 games or whatever. And I think there are a lot of people who believe that it's not possible for the Utah Jazz to build an NBA team that can win a championship. Maybe it's possible for the Utah Jazz to build a team that can get back to the playoffs, but winning a title seems so far out of reach. And the Mammoth can absolutely build a team that can win a Stanley Cup, and I think that's become a healthy alternative for a lot of fans here.
And some of that is the attitude of the players who want to come play here,
yep,
or have no problem with coming to play here. You know, the NBA, Spence, you know this better than anyone, but back in the day, David Stern, they made a conscious decision to emphasize stars. And for good reason, because there's certain people are a lot better at basketball than other people are. And they emphasized that, and it became it got to the point where, okay, wherever those stars went, that's where the championship was going to be. There's an element of that in hockey, but it's more team-oriented, for lack of a better term. And when you go talk to these players, they're regular dudes. Man, you go in there, and they really want to win because they want to win for their team. They want to come together. It's no joke when you hear coaches and players say, yeah, we'd like to win this series for Utah. They mean it. I'm not saying there's not good people involved in the NBA, the players and whatnot, but there's something special about hockey players. They want to do it, and they're making really good money now as opposed to what it once was. But they want to do it for that, but they also want to do it for the right reasons, for the reasons that the fans crave, for the reasons that the fans want the players to be motivated to win. That's the case in the NHL.
And Bill Armstrong is a really sharp executive, and he's almost like clairvoyant. He's like told us what's going to happen prior to each season. This year was year 5 of their rebuild, and he said last year, we think we might be in the mix for a wild card. They were. He said this year, we think we're probably going to qualify. They did. So we've seen this incremental step-by-step growth leading to this standard that has now been set. And I found it really interesting listening to the coaches and players after the Game 6 loss. They all basically said, we've set a new standard now. We're a playoff team every year. This is what we expect to do every year. This is now the standard. And if you juxtapose it to listening to the Jazz players and coaches after the final game of the season, they sounded like 12-year-olds that were let out of school for the summer.
Yeah.
They're like free at last, because it's been such a tough thing. We'll find out on Sunday at 1 o'clock after Mother's Day. Are you ready for Mother's Day? Is Lisa taken care of?
She will be.
Are you going to go through Apex RF treatments? You should.
I hadn't thought about that before.
I'm telling you, man.
By the way, you guys handled that topic very well.
No, I appreciate that because I know for years you've been like, I'm having serious issues. What do I do? And now I've got a solution for you.
Wait a minute.
So
I told you not to say anything on the air.
I'm teasing. So after you take care of Lisa on Mother's Day, that can mean whatever you want it to mean. At 1 o'clock, we'll find out where the Jazz are going to draft.
Yeah.
As I remind everybody, the most likely spot is 5 or 6. It's not 1 or 2. Like everyone last year was like, NBA hates us. They hate Utah. It's like 5 was the most likely landing spot last year because it's a lottery. We're hoping it's going to be a top 3, 4 pick and hopefully number 1. So we don't know what that final piece of the puzzle is going to be, but let's assume it's a good young player that will play in the rotation. What do you think next year looks like for the Jazz?
If they get the right player, Spence, I'm high on this team anyway. I think they will. If they I don't want to pick any one player out, but if they get a really future star in this draft, I think they will be truly contending for a title within 2 or 3 years.
You think if the Jazz draft A.J. DeBonsa, they'll be competing for an NBA championship in 2 to 3 years?
I do.
Huh.
And maybe I'm wrong, but there's a lot of talent on this team.
There is.
And I know it's not perfect, but we really haven't seen them stomp on the accelerator. And if they do with the talent they have that's emerging, and then you add in a generational type talent, I'm not saying they're going to win a title, but I think they'll be competing for one.
So competing is an interesting term because I'm assuming you've watched Victor Wembanyama play basketball.
Yeah, I have. And I thought of those teams. Certain teams came to mind when you said the odds are this and that. Well, San Antonio got maybe what the Jazz should have gotten a long time ago.
Well, they should have done this 4 years ago, as I said, as I was yelling into the microphone.
Yes, I was too.
Yeah, I know
you were very consistent on that.
I know you were. So if I said to you, let's say it's not AJ. Let's say it's Caleb Wilson, who's probably the fourth best prospect. Because we want to be realistic here. We would love it if it was AJ or Cameron Boozer or Darren Peterson. If I said 44 wins next year, play in tournament, do you think that's kind of where you're landing?
I would land there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I've heard some people, most of whom get paid by the team, to say top 4 home court advantage next year. Like, no, the other teams are trying to win too, and the West is good.
Yes. It takes time.
Yeah.
It's just like we saw with the hockey. They have young stars, Logan Cooley, Dylan Gunther. These guys are great young talents, and they've got more talent in the pipeline. But you don't just turn it like that overnight. It takes time, especially because of what you said at the last part there, Spence. The West is good.
It's very good.
Yeah.
All right, let's end with a little college football here, because the news came down last week that the Big 12 has consummated their private equity deal. And every school has the option of tapping into a $30.5 million credit line. BYU will not. They have their own investor running things institutionally. We'll leave that there. Utah just consummated their own private equity deal. We're still waiting for the details there. I don't think Utah taps into this at all. But here's my question for you. The private equity return is supposed to be in 2031 when the new media rights deal is consummated for the Big 12. What is college football going to look like in 2031? What's the Big 12 going to look like in 2031?
I don't know. And you bring up a great question there, because if you do lean into that, then what's the downside to it? Who are you beholden to? What if this doesn't work out the way certain folks want it to? It gets complicated. But for an outfit like BYU, I mean, they, as one booster told me, we're swimming in money.
Yeah.
They have the money they need to be competitive, and you're seeing the results of that in recent seasons. Utah has its thing, and I've talked to some people who are involved in that deal, and they swear by it. They think it's really going to make a huge difference moving forward into that time frame that you suggested. I don't know. I wish I had a crystal ball. I don't know what the effect is going to be, Spence. I'm not sure.
Well, I don't think it's a good idea to get into the weeds for Utah until we know what the Otro Capital deal looks like, how much money is being infused into the athletic department, what they're going to use those funds for. But most importantly, what's Otro Capital's expectation on the other side?
Exactly, and that's it, because private equity people, they're not a charity.
No.
They're not doing it.
They care about one thing.
They care about what's it going to bring back to them. And so what's that equation look like? I know some people are out there spouting their opinions, saying it's going to be this, it's going to be that. Spence, I don't know yet. I guess I have to wait and see. We can guess, but I'm not sure at this point. And I've read all about it. I've done the research on it, and I've heard from both sides. I had one person who was very neck deep in that whole process, and they swear by it and bend in my ear about it. And okay, maybe it'll work out that way. We'll see.
So as a guy who's made his career in journalism, the University of Utah, as a result of a public records request, released the email exchanges between Mark Harlan and Coach Witt's agent, and it became very clear to all of us that was as uncomfortable as we thought it might be.
Yes, it was.
But they continue to deny, and the latest, I actually have it in front of me. This is a lady named Amanda Kristovich, who writes for Front Office Sports. She just sent out, a few months ago, I sent a public records request for a copy of the contract between the University of Utah and Otro Capital. Today, the university denied my request. And then the reasons is they're listed below. It's a lot of legalities. Matt Brown on the show yesterday from Extra Point said he filed a grammar request for the same information. That's been denied. Why do you think Utah is denying the grandma for the Ocho Capital deal, but had to respond to the Witt Harlan emails?
I'm not sure on that, but I would guess that there are parts of it that they think may not reflect all that positively with the general public. Why else would you hide it?
Yeah. See, that's the problem. That's why I never believe a clandestine approach is the right one. Be transparent, answer questions, because look, this is a publicly owned institution.
Right.
Okay. So the public has a right to know what this deal is.
And they will know.
Yeah. Well, and ultimately, as I bring up, Taylor Randall is the president of the University of Utah. He's not the athletic director. And last I checked, the University of Utah has a hospital doing important things. They have other people up there working on campus. And, you know, the chasm between academia and athletics, it's nothing new. I'm sure there's, I don't know, an English professor up there that's like, wait, we just signed a private equity deal and the football team's getting what? Mm-hmm. I'm trying to teach children over here. Or the hospital's like, we're saving lives and you're buying a point guard? You know what I mean? Like,
that's true, Spence. But the overall, the money involved at the University of Utah is such a bigger number than what we're talking about for sports.
Sure.
You know, and that should be kept in perspective as well, even though it sounds like a lot of money to a lot of people. Well, it is a lot of money. But, I mean, the money involved with the university up there, what is it? It's like, I'm guessing, but it's like $6-7 billion or something like that?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But
it's a lot.
I think until we have the Ocho Capital details, it's hard to make a final determination on what the Big 12 private equity deal looks like. So the university, your request has been denied for the following reasons, and then we'll set you loose. Grandma allows individuals or entities who provide records to the university to make a claim of business confidentiality with respect to information so provided, and Grandma prohibits the university from disclosing any information that is subject to a claim of business confidentiality. Okay?
All right.
So I guess there's your answer as far as the difference between the Witt Harlan emails and the Ocho Capital.
But I'm not even sure all the details came out in the Witt Harlan thing.
Yeah.
I'm not reporting this.
Yeah.
But it's my suspicion that there's some stuff that wasn't fully available. So, I mean,
is it
everyone's working it, Spence.
Yeah.
Everyone's working it to the best they can to make it look favorable for them.
You remember when Kyle said, I don't want to wear out my welcome?
Yes.
Well, now we know why he said that.
And I said, Kyle, who's welcome? Whose welcome are you wearing out?
Yeah.
And he said, you for one.
He said that to you?
He said that to me. I
Yeah.
said, that's not true.
Yeah.
But it was someone.
It's pretty clear. Do you think that's a deal? Sometimes you just wear out your welcome. Do you think that's a real thing?
I think it's a thing if you're not winning as much as people want you to.
How long have you been a sports writer?
45 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Are you?
No, I'm just
Is it
wondering.
time?
No, it's just no. That's just a good run, my man. That's all.
Getting full circle here. I hope my wife doesn't think that way.
Of course she doesn't. Look, let's play golf soon, okay?
Okay.
That's about. You got? Are you working on anything right now?
I'm working on a list column that may or may not involve the 25 most prominent athletes in the state.
Oh, you're bringing that back around.
Yeah, I've been asked to. So I thought about maybe doing that.
Is it just athletes or is it owners, coaches?
No, just athletes on this one.
I like it.
Yeah.
Well, look, always great to see you.
If you have any suggestions on that, let me know. Because I am taking suggestions from people who are sports observers around here.
Love it.
The reason I'm doing it is, and the reason I'm saying that I'm doing it is if the readers disagree with me, then do what I'm going to do, and that is blame them.
There we go. I like it. Hey, great. Tell Lisa hello. Happy Mother's Day to her, and great to see you as always, okay?
Thanks, Spence.
My man Gordon Monson did a radio with him for 7 years, and, of course, longtime columnist from the Salt Lake Tribune. All right, Gordy Chiesa is going to join us coming up next. We'll do some draft and some lottery. But my friend Shelly from Wasatch Medical Spa, live in studio. We got one more hit with Shelly here in the 4 o'clock hour. Shelly, great to see you. How are you?
I'm great, thanks.
All right, we're talking about men's sexual wellness. So for those of you in the car, if you have littles that you don't want to hear about this, then just turn the radio down for a little bit. But if you are currently in a spot where you feel like maybe your relationship is compromised because you don't have the same juice or you guys aren't doing the things that you used to do because you just get a little bit older, this Apex RF treatment, Shelly, can really help with that, can it?
Absolutely. It is a new technology. I'm the first in Utah to have it. It's radio frequency heat that helps improve blood flow and collagen, which goes away as we age. The collagen starts to break down and the blood flow is it's poor. And so this helps rejuvenate everything.
I want you to kind of revisit the process that you allowed your employees' husbands to go through. As you brought this treatment to the market, you needed to see if it worked. Tell us about that.
Yes. So first off, my poor husband had to be the first guinea pig for me to learn how to use this machine. Neither of us thought he needed the treatments, and we were both stunned at how much it helped both of us. And then I had all of the husbands of my staff do the treatments, and all of those who finished the 6 treatments noticed improvement regardless of age. From as young as 30 to up to around 60, they all saw improvement in size, girth, sensation, or duration, or all of the above.
And most importantly, the partner saw the improvement as well, yes?
Exactly.
And that's really the most important thing. I want to let our listeners know Shelly was good enough to allow me to go through the treatments. And Shelly, when you asked me to do this, what did I say to you?
You said, I have no issues in this department. Is there any downside?
And you said no downside. So this is not just for people that might be struggling with ED. If you just want to improve, again, what Shelly said, size, girth, duration, sensation, if you feel like you're in a healthy place, it just makes it better. And I was skeptical before I did this. And I told you after the first session, you actually see a difference right away. It's very comfortable. It's actually relaxing. You look forward to it because it feels good. It almost puts you to sleep. It's like a hot stone massage, and it's a beautiful facility, very professional. So you don't have to worry about any pain, and also no like recovery time.
No downtime at all.
Not at all. Like you're ready to go right away. So I can personally let you guys know that it works, and you should do it regardless of your age or where you're at in your perceived functionality. All right, Shelly, we have a special offer for our listeners who give you a call today. What's that?
Yes. So it's 50% off your first treatment, which is a $300 savings if you mention ESPN Radio.
There we go. So it's a free consultation. You should book that right now at wasatchmedicalspa.com. wasatchmedicalspa.com. It's wasatchmedicalspa.com. So go book your free consultation and then go in there and say, hey, I heard Spence and Shelly talking about this on a show, and they're going to knock 50% off your first treatment. I'm telling you, go get it done. Mother's Day right around the corner. Give your wife a Mother's Day gift she will not forget with our friends at Wasatch Medical Spa. Shelly, great to see you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll catch a break. Gordy Chase up next on ESPN 700. This is definitely a Porter or Larson selection out the door on a Tuesday. Yeah, you went rogue here, yes?
Yeah, well, you gave the freedom to play some country.
For sure.
And we kind of did throughout the day.
Wait. Alan Jackson.
Alan Jackson's fine.
Okay.
I think we had a Tim McGraw, Old Dominion.
I know nothing about Old Dominion. I was actually stunned Monson knew a country band.
But yeah, I gotta throw a little Merle in there.
What's Old Dominion, by the way?
It's a group. They're more like radio country, pop country.
And you're anti pop country.
I wouldn't say anti, but no, yeah, you might be right. It's not on my playlist. Let's just say that.
Tell me why I'm seeing Morgan Wallen stuff everywhere these days.
Popular,
all right,
pop country. It's easy to throw on in the background and listen to. I guess it's not my cup of tea. I don't know.
Give me your top three.
Top three?
Porter Larson,
like
country,
ever?
Yeah, your personal top three.
Probably Merle
Haggard,
Towns Van Zandt.
Shout out Towns.
And Johnny Cash.
Cash.
That's tough because you usually give a Mount Rushmore. And then you got Willie.
You can throw Willie. You can go 4 if you want. Now you're getting loose. That's 5.
Hank Williams Sr., of course.
Okay, let's look. One more. I'll give you one more. And that's all.
All right, I'll go Marty Robbins.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say you hated the Johnny Cash movie with Joaquin Phoenix playing Johnny Cash.
No, I actually thought he did a really good job.
Why are you wearing all black? You look like you're going to a funeral. Well, maybe I am.
It was definitely like a movie, right? If you, and I actually did in my advanced writing class in college, I did a biography on Johnny Cash.
Okay.
It was like 89 pages of Cash history. So I did like the full research on his career. And the movie takes some liberties, as Hollywood does. But I thought Mr. Phoenix did a really good job, and I quite enjoyed that one.
Yeah, I thought it was a good movie, but I don't know Johnny Cash like you do. I very much like him. I do. That's one country artist I've listened to for a long time, so I'm on board with you there. All right, NBA playoffs tonight. Cavs, Pistons going on right now. Of the 4 series, this is the one I'm least interested in.
Okay. I'm pretty interested in it just because of their, obviously a local connection with Donovan. The Pistons, who are, as we've talked about, in a kind of a rite of passage league, their first time doing it. The Harden experiment. I think there's some intrigue to this one. I at least think it should be a competitive series.
I am intrigued to see Lakers Thunder. I don't know that LA has a fighting chance. And that's a testament to who OKC is and has been for about 3 years now. LeBron, you got to give him the benefit of the doubt because he's been here before, but of course the Thunder just won a championship. They're kind of waiting on the J-Dub thing, and Austin Reeves comes back. I'm just hoping that this is even if it's a 4 or 5 game series, just give me 4 or 5 really good close games.
My question is, what's the Luka situation?
Yeah.
If the Lakers can steal a game in OKC somehow, one of the first 2 games, and then they get Luka back, the conversation changes completely. Not only because obviously the Lakers are completely different, but then the pressure I think is put onto OKC a little bit. Definitely heavy favorites. OKC is, as we've talked about, they are even better than defending champ 60-plus win team would kind of tell you on paper. They are historically good when it comes to the metric side of things. So, fighting chance, yeah, sure, but the Lakers are definitely fighting uphill.
I did receive a text message earlier in the show when we were discussing the University of Utah denying multiple grammar requests for information about the private equity deal with Otro Capital. And I probably should have remembered this. Utah is creating a company, a LLC. I forget the name of it, Utah something or other. And the deal is between the company and the private equity group. It's not between the private equity group and the university. That was explained to me during the break. That's why the University of Utah continues to deny the grammar requests, and I'm told they're going to continue to deny it because it's not a deal between the university and Ocho Capital. It's a deal between this offshoot company that the University of Utah started to make the deal with Ocho Capital. Remember, Taylor Randall is a wizard. He's a smart dude with a business background. So if you're looking for information there, that's what I was told earlier today. All right, Porter, what's coming our way on a Wednesday edition of the program?
Halfway through your work week, it's looks like it's all hoops on a Wednesday, Spence. We've got Tim McMahon for your NBA Daily Assist. You can call it a Daily Assist with our guy Tony Jones, our resident Knicks, Sixers, Cavs, I guess, whatever many cities Tony is from. You can give us the insight on all of those. Richard Smitty Smith will stop by the program, as will our guy Kevin Reynolds. So stacking it up on a Wednesday.
We might sneak a little college football with Kev, but of course he's covering the Jazz now for the trip. So join us for that. Special thank you today to Chris Comrani, Gordon Monson, and Gordy Chiesa, three of my favorites on the show today. If you missed any of it, the website is ESPN700sports.com. Make sure to download our mobile app and take us on the go. That ESPN 700 app is available in the App Store and the Google Play Store for free. And then for what we do, if you're a fan of podcasts, we're asking you to subscribe to two of them on the show if you enjoy our work. Number one is The Drive with Spence Checketts. That is this program. Number two is Reality Check with Spence Checketts, my new project with our friends over at Sinclair Broadcasting and KUTV. Episode 6 will go live tomorrow. But if you're a fan of this show, you got a sneak peek because it's Gordy Chiesa. Wherever you get your pods, subscribe, rate, review, say nice things in the comments, and give us all the stars you can. For Porter, I'm Spence saying goodnight. Have a great Tuesday evening. We'll talk to you on a Wednesday edition of The Drive. And as always, you can catch it right here on ESPN.